No pulse. No pulse.
No breathing. No breathing.
No heartbeat. No heartbeat.
Where do the tricksters come in now? I love the trickster archetype, actually. It was hard when I was making the original presentation, just because I am a trickster archetype. And so it was fun to, talk poorly of the trickster archetype just because it's cheap. We all know, well, we might not all know, but many of us know already the negatively inclined attributes of the trickster archetype. So for me, it's like there's not enough spotlight on the positive aspects of the trickster archetype, such as Jerdef, Hermes, like those two alone. But yeah, so we're not talking about the positive ones. You guys have to stop making me go off track. We're talking about the negative ones. And in the negative inclination of the trickster archetypes, we have archons. Classic example of archons, because when we talk about malevolent, or I like to call it hostile, it's more generous, in terms of personified forces in nature, the cosmos, within, without, there's a lot of different gradients of those. They're just not all archon, or they're just not all trickster. But the archons are the perfect embodiment or disembodiment of the negative trickster elements, because archons rule what we know as fate. And the trickster elements are completely tied to free will, and therefore its opposite, or rather its counterpart, fate. So when we're talking specifically about the trickster archetype in its negative orientation, what we're doing is we're talking about the negative side of what we correspond with in our psyche, which is known as determinism. Now, there's positive elements to determinism too, but we're not going to cover anything positive today. Unless it's on this presentation, which is really positive. So, focusing on the negative aspects of that thing I just said, there's this way of looking at things that needs nuance in between it. But before we get to the nuance, we're just going to look at them broader in black and white. And that's determinism would be linked to calcification. It would be linked to everything's predetermined. Therefore, it is out of your rule. What are archons? Rulers. It is out of your rule. The very fact that things are overemphasized in a determined way is one of involution and is one of determinism. Now, how the trickster archetype comes into this, and why I would link heavily the archons with being trickster archetypes rather than, like we have, I'm sure you guys are in the know, like there's reptiles, there's other forms, there's other ones, but who's to say that yes, just because you're a hyperdimensional stalker, that you're good at it. The archons are tricksters, because what they're doing is always trying to move you around your own sovereignty, to move you around your own free will, to make everything look calcified, inevitable, determined, involuted. And so in its most, exalted state, we can look at them as the forces that catalyze us, that we push against in order to break into that sovereignty. That's being generous. And then what we have from that would just be they are the metaphysical extensions of our own fragmentation. And I don't know who else may have, whether it's an inner or outer, but I will just ruin the surprise for you. It's both. It's not just how we correspond to them. At this level of reality, we are creators, whether we remember that or not, whether we access our free will, therefore our sovereignty or not. And so because of that, we are the archons as well. It's just about how much of that spectrum do we correspond to. And when we're in the determinism, we are being tricked. They're always doing things to trick us out of our sovereignty. even if it means blaming the external forces, which I'm all about, by the way. I dig that. But yeah, we allow them when we're not when we're not harnessing our sovereignty. We allow them. And I don't even mean allow them in like they did it, like we're giving away our emotional and mental life force for them to create timelines. Literally create timelines. That's what the trickster archetype that the archons embody do.